Assalamu alaikum class. Welcome to online computer programming lecture number 8, C++, function parameters and default parameters is our today's agenda. Engineer Mohammad Shakir is here to tell you about these things. Well, in the previous function lecture we have discussed the basic syntax of the function and how function works. So it is quite familiar with our control statement, like we have to execute one thing again and again. So do not need to write it again and again, just write in the form of function. The other name of function is called the mini programs. So we have to just create it once and runs again and again. So go through that lecture. It is very important lecture and of course very important topic. It will make your ground if you know about the function. So here we will discuss about the function parameters and default parameters. So let's look on it. Parameters and arguments. Information can be passed to function as a parameter. So the information which function need to be passed or to be received by the function, that is called the parameter. Parameter act as a variable inside the function. Like we have a variable to store some value, that is the parameter works as a variable in the function. Clear? Parameters are specified after the function name. So first we write the function name, then in the parenthesis we will have the parameter. So where we are going to specify the parameter. So in this point we are talking about the place where the parameters reside in the function. Oh yeah, here it is written inside the parenthesis. So you can add as many parameters as you want, just separate them with a comma. So comma is important. So here two things are discussed about the parameters, that it works as a variable and where it is placed after the function name in the parenthesis. Clear? So here we have the syntax, we have the data type, we have here function name, then we are here with the parameter 1, parameter 2, parameter 3 and so on. There is no limit. You can add as many as you can, and here then we will have a code to be executed, or you can say the body of the function. So the information we can pass to the function with the help of these parameters. So that is the extended form of the function, or you can say the applicability of the function is enhanced more and more. So the following example has a function that takes a string called fname as a parameter. So in the next slide we have a function that takes the parameter which is a string, that is fname. When the function is called, we pass along the first name. So parameters means that function requires something to execute. Clear? So that requirement is the parameter, and that parameter in the following example will be the fname, which is used inside the function to print the full name. So we will see what is the function. So we have a void my function, we have a here string data type, and here we have a name. Like we have a variable that we first have a data type and then the variable name. Same, we have the string type parameter and that will take the string data. So here is the body of the code, cout fname, and here is the references. So main function. So here we first define the function, or we create the function, as I told you in the previous lecture how to create the function, and then we are declaring main function, and then we will call that function. So my function lam, so here fname will be what? Lam, and then that will be reference. So my function Jenny, again my function Anja, return 0. So that will be the output of the code. Lamb references, Jenny references. So what we have here, fname. So fname is the parameter that the function takes, and while we give the parameters here in the form of string, make sure that type will be string type. Clear? Okay, when a parameter is passed to the function, it is called an argument. So here now you will be familiar with the difference between parameter and argument. When a parameter is passed to the function, it is called an argument. So from the example above, fname is the parameter because we are passing that parameter, while lamb, Jenny and Anja are the arguments. So clear? Parameter means function needs something to be while executing it required that parameter. So if that requirement is fulfilled by the user, that is called the argument, in other words. So make sure to parameter and argument, you should now familiar with these types of things now. Okay, now I am not going to execute that previous program. It is up to you, not up to you, but it is mandatory for you that you yourself run that program in C++ and show me the result. And how you will show me that result? You can just run that program in the C++ and write your roll number in the program and then email me that program, the parameter and argument. Clear? Okay, now we are in the default parameters. Then what is default parameter? As in my very first video I have told you about the default parameter. So default parameter value. So you can also use a default parameter value by using the equal signs. Clear? If we call the function without an argument, it use the default value Norway. Clear? So if the function required the parameter but that parameter were not given, then it will take the default parameter. So without the function will give the error that something is required, that requirement is not fulfilled by the user, then we must initialize the default parameter. If nothing from the user, then it will show the default parameter. Clear? So here is a syntax: void my function, string country is equal to Norway, cout country, and backslash, and then it will print in the new line. So we have a int main function. So here user gave the my function, and here is the Sweden, my function India. So my function call, my function USJ, return 0. Then it will again what it will show the same function Sweden, India, Norway, USA. So if that is not given by the user, then it will by default will execute the Norway. So what is the point here? A parameter with a default value is often known as the optional parameter. Clear? From the example above, country is an optional parameter and Norway is the default value. So what you understood from the previous function, that if we are not going to give the exact country name, then that country name is optional parameter. But the specific, if we are going to give the argument specific, then it is the default value. So here is the concept between the parameters, arguments and default values. So I must suggest you to execute these programs and run the program, so that in the end, so the function topic will continue, the 2 or 3 videos or more of functions. So if at this point you are having any difficulty, try to clear that difficulty. Ask me questions in the Saturday session so that we will move forward with new concepts and new things. Clear? Okay, Allah Hafiz.